welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another edition, another group day here of the HomeStory Cup. HomeStory Cup 28 Revelation Retake Group Stage, Group C. I'm of course just VIP with him, joined by these amazing players and by the people in the chat as well. Welcome, welcome, one and all. It has been what, a couple of hours since our last cast. We were of course live with Sparkling Tuna Cup last night with our weekly open tournament, but now we are here. Now we are back with what? We are back with the HomeStory Cup Group Stage coverage. Again, we've been slowly working through the groups one by one. Group A, B, we are halfway through Group C, and we have the other half ready for us. Let's go. Let us go. Again, a lot of matches, a lot of games, a lot of StarCraft has been ongoing over the past month. It's been we're catching up on all the games, catching up on all the StarCraft. Let's go, let's go, as we switch things over and catch up on our matches for today's broadcast. As you can see here, we have 5 best of 3s. 5 best of 3s. When it comes to the groups themselves, it is a round robin group stage, so everyone plays against everyone. We already went through half of these matches. We already went through 5 of them, and now we have another 5, 10 in total. First we have Big Gay versus Harstem in a TVP, followed by Elazer versus Clem, Elazer versus Krystianer, Fjant versus Harstem, and Clem versus HeroMarine at the end of the broadcast. Let's go. 5 best ofs. Let's go, Bible. Let's go. Again, for the other groups, we only had 1 broadcast day per group, but here for Group C, there were so many more high-profile matches that we had to cover. Even more than that, we had to delve in. We just had to. Oh my god. Group D is going to be similar. Group D also, we do have a 2 days worth of coverage. 2 days worth of broadcast for Group D before getting into the playoffs themselves. We'll get there, but we'll get there. Likewise, when it comes to the rest of our schedule for the rest of the week, we're going to be live later on this evening with some Picasso Cup 64 replay coverage alongside the OSC Elite Rising Star tomorrow. We have Picasso Cup on a Wednesday. We have Waters V Mondays on Wednesday, more HomeStory Cup, and of course MSO and STC over the weekend. We'll get there. We will get there. For the time being, though, we're going to be jumping into our first series of the broadcast. Again, Harstem versus HeroMarine. Game 1 is going to be on White Rabbits. Let's go. Let us go. Spawning in the top right-hand corner of White Rabbits, we have the red Terran player. We have the German Terran representing Mouse. It is HeroMarine. And spawning in the bottom hand corner, we have the blue Protoss player from the land of the Netherlands representing Shopify Rebellion. It is a Harstem. Here we go. We're jumping into our TVP. Big Gabe, of course, yesterday we were covering him in the first half of the group stage, and he was popping off. He did have a banger of a match against Krystianer, went all the way to the ace match. We're going to delve into that back and forth. We'll see how Big Gabe compares to Harstem here in our fresh best of. Let's go. We'll see how they adjust their approaches, more importantly, just because we did cover Harstem versus Clem, and it was a much shorter series, much more aggressive series as well. Harstem went for an all-in and then got all-in himself. Again, Harstem is one of the most standard of players. He often does go for some quirkier builds and quirkier styles, and does typically kind of avoid or try to find his own way in the meta at times. So we'll see how he does approach this, especially loading into White Rabbit. White Rabbit, which is known for more mid to late game play, one of the larger maps of the map pool, longer rush distance by ground, and a relatively defendable 4 base setup. We'll get there. For now, double gas opener out of Big Gabe. To set up here, we'll be able to take up and get into his factory that much faster. So a faster factory before CC, a more tech heavy start out of our Terran player. Meanwhile, Harstem just going gate expand into Cybercore. So standard opener here out of Harstem. Big Gabe himself, he does go for a faster factory, but also actually goes for a faster reactor as well. Okay, no Marine, no early Reaper. And with this, we can get into Reactor Reaper Hellion here. So that is on the mind here for Big Gabe. We'll see how hard he commits. We shall see. Now the players are going to be settling in. Cybercore is done. We'll soon be getting into our take of choice. And there are the Reactor Reapers. Now, to commit this hard and to commit this heavily here on one base before expanding, this is meant to deal damage, referring to getting into the mineral lines, dealing economic damage, getting into the probes. We'll see what game can get done here. The scouting probe here will be able to confirm the reactor, and we'll be able to confirm the Reapers as well. Harstem at least is aware that Gabe is expanding. Not unheard of to see a one base still in, but is unheard of on a larger map like White Rabbits. 2 Reapers move out, and do we go up to 4? Do we cut early? This big Gabe does fan out. Opening up. Okay. Double Reaper Hellion. Only 2 Reapers and 1 Hellion. Ooh, I have to get rid of the Tuning Cup. True. Did cast that last night, but we don't double down. We could have gone into another set of Reapers and Hellions, but no, we're going to be switching already into our tech lab, into marine production. Only a light commitment here by Big Gabe. Very light. So that's taking to the shade. They catch out the first Reaper. Harstem gets dragged out into the open, and we're going straight for the mineral line. Thankfully, there is one more adept on the high ground. Hellion's being focused down, and the Hellion will fall. Big A does get a full scout, but no economic damage. So Gabe confirms the Twilight Council, the gateway. So far, it is going to be a 3-gate blink. Okay, so 3-gate blink into a robo safe play here by Harstem. And Gabe across the map went for the add-on stop, going into Cloak Banshee. Oh, okay. Cheeky setup here from Big Gabe. Harstem himself is currently in the dark. I believe no sentry. Yep, no sentry. He has to rely on the adepts instead to scout. He's reliant on the adepts. Oh, Elazer in the shade. So far, Gabe is keeping up. And may have stopped the tank, but has not seen the Banshee. Now back at home, thankfully there is detection. It was a robot before expanding, so detection is available. You got a couple stalkers in the main. Battery as well. Battery also somewhat at the natural. And we'll see. As we've already built up to 2 Banshees. Bearing in mind 2 Banshees can one-shot probes, so even with the battery that will not matter. Harstem building up into his bay, getting to colossal production, and we'll see how many losses he does sustain here to the Banshees. Thankfully there is one observer back at home. Observer back at home. We have a couple of stalkers as well. There's an answer to the Banshee. Oh, Manami moves out. Okay, so as the Banshee is harassed, Gabe, he's pushing towards the 3rd. Oh. Banshees, they make their way in. But oh, the transfer! Probes, they transfer at the wrong moment. Manami does engage. Oh, catching up 1, 2 stalkers already. Oh, almost 3. Yeah, hefty losses there for Harstem already. 7 probe kills, getting into 8, getting into 9. And just collapsing in the army. Yeah, just collapsing on the main army here. Extra free damage. Harstem, he's in so much danger. I don't know if he can deal with this. He's going to go for the blink. He's going for the dive. Gets 1 tank. Gets 1. He should get both tanks. But oh, at a cost. He's going to lose every single stalker. Hefty losses for Harstem. GG gets called. There is nothing left. And Big Gabe takes game number 1. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Again, that was not meant to kill, that was not meant to end the game. Gabe was setting up for expansion behind that, but alas, he was able to pull Harstem apart. Harstem had some hefty losses in the center. Unfortunately, he was distracted, and we lost, what, around 3 stalkers ahead of time in the center of the map. That allowed Gabe to just commit even harder. On top of that, Banshee's getting free damage as well. The observers were out of position, and the observer never got a full scout of the main base. Harstem was never aware that Banshees were coming his way. GG. GG, well played. With that, Big Gabe does snowball control, and now we're going to be loading into game number 2. Going to be getting into game 2 here, going to be loading into Winter Madness. We'll see if Harstem can recover, bounce back, and actually get into his game. I will say that, is that in game 1, Big Gabe, he kind of built up to his move outs, he built up to his timing, and Harstem was unable to really keep up. But we'll see if this time we can actually delve into more of a back and forth. Let's go. This morning in the top left-hand corner of Winter Madness, we have the red Terran player. We have the red Terran, we have the German Terran representing Mouse. It is HeroMarine. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the blue Protoss player representing Shopify Rebellion. From the land of the Netherlands, it is Harstem. Go. Oh, hello, Slowjo. Hello, Solens. Bye in the chats. Bienvenidos. 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 Getting into our best of 3. And HeroMarine once again going for a double gas opener. Double gas, faster factory, delayed CC. Once again going for a more tech heavy start. Again, coming into this, we don't really get to cast much Harstem just because he's not really as much of an active player nowadays. Does sign up every now and then for like a Monday night weekly, for example, or maybe every now and then for War DCB Monday. But again, it's a little bit more rare to kind of cover his matches. So I'm excited to see how he has been adjusting his TVP or his PVT. Again, we did see some quirky builds out of Harstem already in the previous broadcast. I'm ready for more. Yeah, I'm ready for more. God, I gotta... God damn it. I'll get rid of the tune-up. I'll get rid of it. It's my urge. Every time. For those that are curious, you can't remove the logos mod while you're in-game because it's currently being utilized. Wait till we're out of game. Now this time we do have a deviation. This time it's Reaper first. Reaper first into the reactor. Last game was reactor first, so we do have a slight adaptation here. On HeroMarine, he does shut down the initial scanning probe. And behind this, we'll see if he goes into another wave of Reaper Hellion. I will say that Harstem, he had a really nice defense early on in the last game, shutting down the Hellion, shutting down the initial Reaper. It was a nice start. Didn't lose any workers. It was the mid game, it was the aftermath. Harstem was lacking. So Reaper does poke in, and it looks like it's only going to be one Reaper. Reactor Marine production instead. Or even just canceling. Yeah, so no Hellions, no additional Reapers. HeroMarine instead taking up in towards said Cyclone. And I do like this out of Big Gabe. Again, I did just mention that here, that Harstem, he had a stronger defense last game, and this time Gabe doesn't even bother. Does already shift gears. Setting up for his own early drop. For his own early move out. Harstem once again not cutting corners. 2 more gates being thrown down. 3 gate blink. On a larger map like Winter Madness, I would say that more Brittle Stars are tempted to go into a faster third base, but Harstem's playing very safe. Very safe. Doesn't expand. And Gabe confirms. He confirms no expansion. Marines and Cyclone, they load up. Loads on up. Oh, okay, getting into earlier stim. Stim is on the way. 2 more Maxes. It's often that we do see like a Raven follow-up or even Banshee follow-up like we saw last game, but this time straight into stim. And to jump into the mineral line, no safety shield battery, so probes are going to be denied. It denies mining, Reaper into the main. Ooh, gets shut down. But Harstem cannot deal with this. With 3 Stalkers, with a Sentry, with another Adept, he should be okay. Yeah, we'll zone this back. Despite that nice damage, getting a Pylon, 2 probes, and denying mining time with a natural. Nice start here for Big Gabe, considering he didn't lose his Cyclone or his Medevac. As Gabe does pull out. And Harstem expands. Setup will expand. And once again, Harstem taking him in towards Colossus. Ooh. Does take a tank shot to the face. Harstem has to be careful. Again, it's all just about engaging and delaying any kind of move outs. Harstem does not need to commit. And Gabe is still being very active here. Rallying across with another tank. Stim is now finishing up. Oh, and he got, gee, we're just going for a 2-ace all in. He pulls the boys. Yeah, boys are being pulled. Adepts, they confirm. And Harstem, he has to get ready back at home. The Colossus is not going to be out in time. Oh, nice pick up though. Gets a medevac. Takes down a medevac. Doesn't get the tank, but once again, very nice force fields. Oh my god. As Gabe barely saves both tanks. But again, this choke point is brutal. Gabe, he cannot make it through. Ah, no more force fields though. Yeah, no more force fields. But Harstem successfully slowing this down. Disruptors on the way. Other reason for this is disruptors they made faster than Colossus. It's all about time. Time is of the essence. No battery at the third base. Bunker's going to be thrown down. Dives on the first tank. He gets one. Oh, but he's going to lose everything. Yeah, he's going to lose every single stalker. Aye, aye, aye. That was not worth the blink. Not like this. Never goes off. The splits. Oh my god. Does grace the army. Decent Nova. But Gabe, he's done it. Gabe, he's breaking through. Boys are being pulled. Harstem getting desperate. Let's try to force some friendly fire. One tank is going to go down, but GG gets called. GG gets called here. Marine, he will claim the series 2-0, advancing or taking down Harstem. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Harstem did an amazing job when it came to engaging at a time, slowing down the all-in. The Adepts, they caught the SCVs. He was able to force field the center of the map as well. He was able to catch out the first Cyclone. All that was great. Unfortunately, behind that, remember, he was going for the faster Bay. Was taking up, I should say, with a Forge, with a Bay, instead of getting extra warp-ins, instead of getting shield batteries. His defenses back at home were lacking. He needed a little bit more time, needed more warp-ins, and he was broken. Broken then and there. Also, that blink was brutal. When he blinked into the army, he lost every single stalker. GG. GG, well played. And with that, HeroMarine does claim the first series of the broadcast. And with that, we have more matches to come. Esther Gabe. Now we're going to be taking a break from Big Gabe for a while. We did cover a lot of his matches last week, or last broadcast. But here he does take down Harstem, and Gabe will be returning at the end of the broadcast against Clem in a TVP. Bearing in mind that Clem, he has not played a TVT in over a year. He has not competed as a Terran in TVT in over a year, so it's all about Protoss as a Terran instead. We'll see how Gabe compares, as he will have some time to rest up to himself as we get into some of the other matchups instead. Up next, Elazer versus Clem in a TVZ. Let's go. Let's go. Again, bearing in mind, Elazer, he is recently returning to the game. Elazer, he did step away, and he did devote a lot of time to Age of Empires, and it was back in November of last year, where Elazer started playing and competing again, and he did look quite solid, honestly. Like, I was very surprised, very impressed that Elazer, he made it to the finals of a What Is TV Monday a couple of, at this point, like a month ago. But yeah, really surprising, and it's still going up against the best Terran player in the world, so it's going to be a rough one, but regardless, I'm curious to see how he compares and what he brings to the table here. Elazer went for nothing but all-ins against Gabe last time. So we've been seeing some hyper-aggressive builds out of Elazer. We'll see if that trend continues as I load into Ruby Rock. If you remember, Elazer, he was going for non-stop proxy hatcheries. That's what he was going for. And he did take a game, to be fair. Did take a game, and spawning in the bottom hand corner of Ruby Rock, we have the Polish Zerg player. We have the red Zerg representing himself, currently seamless. It is Elazer. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the French Terran player, the blue Terran representing Team Liquid. It is Clem. Here we go. As Elazer does not move out across the map, hatch first back at home. Okay. Again, against Gabe, we did see non-stop proxy hatcheries, non-stop shenanigans, but here against Clem, we do have a much more standard hatch gas pool setup. Okay. Everything's looking a lot more normal, a lot more standard. Bearing in mind that these are two good friends, and of course Elazer was on Team Liquid for a very long time. So they were teammates. I say for a long time, since 2022-ish. I remember that Elazer, he was on AGO Esports for a couple of years into COVID. Then a little bit later is when he joined Team Liquid. I want to say around 2022-ish. now, though. We are going to be building up. Again, Clem just going for a Rax expands. Send the opener out of Elazer. I was keeping an eye on the gas guys to see if he does delay. But so far, everything's looking as it should be. God damn it. God. One of these days. GG. That were fast. Yeah, fast games. Fast games. So far, at least. To be fair, game 1 was not meant to be an all-in. It wasn't not meant to end the game. But yeah, game 2. Gabes did commit. It's gonna be like, hello there. God damn it. Este tuna. Reaver does poke in, gets one drone already. Ooh, rough start here for Elazer, and Elazer's going into a 2-base lair. Okay. If you recall, I was mentioning how Elazer was going for a lot of all-ins and it was going for a lot of proxy hatcheries against Gabe, but here he's going for a insanely fast lair. Was that a 220 lair timing? Jesus. Reaver pokes in. No, the Reaver scouts. Reaver confirms. And Clem is fully aware of the 2-base lair. Now, a lair this quickly, this early on, in my mind, is not 2-base Muta. In my mind, is going to be something like a 9S all-in. The Overlord across the map is here on the left-hand side. There is no Overlord pushing into the main base. You can see that Clem is on patrol, looking for said Overlord. Behind this going 3CC, Banshee, Greedy, Economic, standard opener here by Clem. We'll see if Elazer can pop up, as he doesn't pull back into any other gases. It's going for a Roach one here on 2 bases. Drop a Lord. German taxi. And we're in Krefeld, true. We are in Krefeld. German taxis upon us. Elazer's going for a Roach Queen drop a Lord all in. Oh, wait, no, sorry, my apologies. This is what he was doing against Gabe, of course. In my mind, I was thinking about the proxy hatcheries, but the other thing that was going on, of course, was the fast lair into fast Overlord speed into an Overseer Scout. Yeah. He was going for the Overseer Scout, and then from here, Elazer, he would either commit to an all-in or just macro out of it. So I was getting ahead of myself here. And this is a quirky build. Elazer's the only person that does this. But did showcase this against Gabe last time. So no all-in. It is very inefficient. Like, you're spending a lot of resources on Overlord speed, on the lair, of course, as well. It's disrupting your queen production because you're making a lair instead of a queen. It delays your 3rd base. Like, there's a lot of downsides to this. It's very intense on 2 bases. But we're getting to roaches. It's tuna time. True. Okay, we're good. Sorry. Had to open the window. It's getting very hot here. Very hot. With the Reaper, sorry, the Banshees do poke in. Hellions as well. Drone's going to be going down. And behind this, oh, we're rushing to a fast infestation pit. Elazer thinking about Swarm Hose. I'm assuming. I say that he's getting +1 melee. Wait, what? Reaper Hellion pokes in. 9 drones going down. Critical damage already. In my mind, this should be Swarm Hose play, but on the other hand, this would be for fast infestors. I feel like it will Swarm Host would be getting +1 range, not melee. So I'm a little bit perplexed. There it is. Infestors. Infestors are on the way. So he's working towards fungal growths. But this is still very messy here. And again, the drone count has been stifled. Clem is building up, working towards Stim. Does he just A-Rax from here? Like, I feel like that'd be the call to make. Clem is moving out. Now again, these infestors are lined up. They are timed with this push, and we need these fungals to connect. Otherwise, Clem will just overwhelm. Need those fungals. Tanks, they do see each other. The Ravagers! Ravagers getting called out. Losing 1, 2, 3 Ravagers already. Nice fungal, but no follow-up. We get the chain fungal though. Nice catch. Most of the Marines go down, and with that, Elazer has defended. Elazer does defend. The game will continue. From here, just because of the melee upgrades, it tells us that most likely we'll be seeing a Bailey Nest into Lingbane. Oh, no, sorry. Actually, we can just go straight into Ultras. Okay. I was on the way for Ultra play. If you remember, this kind of style here is very, very reminiscent to how Shin was playing at DreamHack Dallas last year. Very similar, but we're getting there in a different way. It's got the main, like, kind of points we're reaching with nice catching on both tanks. Like Roach base play, into Fast Hive, into Ultras. But Elazer does get there in his own way. And it is going to be a big power spike, but it's still a ways away here. Fungals are nice, but again, we need to gather more energy. We need more time for more fungals. Clem is being active. Starting a dive. Once again, though, here come the fungals. Enough time has passed. And Clem, he has to get out of here. Like, he cannot engage. Yeah, he cannot engage the fungals. They shut him down. Nice defense here by Elazer. Again, this build is working quite well for Elazer. Shut down both pushes. It's just the main fight that I'm concerned about. Like, he's delayed the army. He's delayed the move outs. But he can only delay for so long. Ultra Cavern's on the way. Elazer needs more time. That's the final fungal. Oh no. Yeah, nice scan here. The Banshee does catch out one of the infestors, and Clem, he's no longer out of control. He's pushing out. Yeah, he finally does break out. So remember, there are no Bailings. No Bailings. There are no Ultras. There's no fungal. The Bio Army cannot be stopped. Not like this. Oop. And Mind just connecting. Army stims in, and Clem has broken Elazer. Again, it was a very clutch hold up until this point from Elazer, like very clutch. It was on the knife's edge. But once we ran out of fungals, that was game. That was game then and there. GG gets called, and Clem takes game number 1. GG. Whew. Get rid of the tuna. Hold on. I remember. But GG, well played. Clem does take a lead in the series. Again, a really interesting style and an interesting build here by Elazer. Like, it does make sense with how it's meant to build up and how it's meant to get you to Ultra Tech, of course. But unfortunately, he ran out of fungals. Unfortunately, he ran out of fungals, so he just could not stop the army, could not stop Clem. GG. It's the risk you take when you skip Bailings, right? Like, the problem is that because he skipped Bailings, because he was rushing to Hive that quickly, it meant that he was heavily reliant on those fungals. And once he ran out, that was game. That was game. Now going to be loading into game number 2. And no Bailings. Oh, yeah, but it's intentional, right? Like, intentionally, this build that Elazer is going for is meant to skip Bailings. But here we go. Spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of 10,000 feet, we have the Polish Zerg player. We have the red Zerg representing himself, currently teamless. Down in the series, we'll see if he mounts back. It is Elazer. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the French Terran player. We have the blue Terran representing Team Liquid. It is Clem. Let's go. Let us go. Now, we are expecting to see Elazer once again go hatch gas pool into a 240 or 250-ish layer timing into 2-base Roach. We saw this a lot out of Elazer already, and we should be seeing it here again. I will remind though that even though the opener has been the same, we have seen different variations. We have seen him actually commit into a roach all in. We've seen him play macro and get into infestors. We have seen him vary it up. And I will say that loading into 10,000 feet, because how small the map is and how short the rush distance is, going into a roach all in would make sense. Would make sense. So here we go. Again, our players are building up. Again, eyes are going to be on Elazer. We'll see if he goes for the fast layer again. I will see if Clem does adjust as well. I feel like personally against these more roach heavy styles, like going 1-1-1, committing into a more heavy banshee setup, I mean, can be very successful. It's a very safe way to play. We'll see. As the factory has been thrown down, there's no 2-on-1. True. Elaser's gathering his gas. Reaver does poke in. And yeah, there it is. It's a 226 layer timing. Again, it's so fast. I was saying like 240. Like, no. 226. So just like last game, it's going to be a fast layer into Overlord speed, into Overseer scouts. And then based on what he sees, we'll see how Elazer reacts. As Clem is going for a third command center before starport. So hyper greed here by Clem. Clem, he doesn't. Oh, he does confirm the lair. He knows. Oh, and it's going to be a 3cc 2-on-1. Okay. Bold move. Does this hit before Infestor? It should. So again, as we mentioned, Overlord speed into the Overseer, into the scouts. Roach Horn is revealed. And we should be seeing that Overseer soon. There it is. There's that Overseer. And so far, Elazer's droning. He's droning, he's saturating. Did mention that from here, Elazer has a choice to make. He does spot the third CC, but Elazer, he can either go for an all-in or try to macro out of this. Both options are viable. Oh, it does rush past. Yeah, the Hellion Reaver does get in. He gets into the middle line, gets one drone so far. Oh my god. It's 9 more mining time, getting a second drone. Checking for the gases, does confirm both gases at the natural. Confirms nothing here in the main. Getting to 5 drone kills. Can we get 6? Can we get 7? There's no there's no queen on the low ground. Yeah, with that 7 drones go down. Very nice damage here, getting up to 8. 8 drone kills. Ay. And remember, Clem is going for an early stim timing. Remember, it was a 3cc 2-on-1. So stim is almost complete, just waiting for the reactor Medivacs, then we can move out. Now, if you remember, my big question was, what hits first? The Medivacs and the stim timing, or Infestors? If these Infestors pop out in time, obviously they spawn in with 1 fungal each. Fungals will shut this down, and they will allow for a defense to happen. So Elazer, he needs those Infestors, he needs those Fungals. It's going to be close. It's going to be very close. Medivacs are coming. The pit is done. Where are the Infestors? We're missing larva. Last roaches that were just made. There we go. 2 Infestors are now in production, and Clem does move out. As he waits. Oh, the contamination. Okay, the contamination. Oh my god. A big delay on the Medivacs here. Elazer, calm down. And this means that the Infestors, they pop out. They pop out in time. If it wasn't for that contamination, it would have been much closer. The army would already be here. Okay, the Marines would already be engaging. So nice delay, nice contamination. Infested pop out, Elazer defense. And just like last game, the goal here is for 1-1 upgrades, most likely melee into Hive Tech into Ultras. Once again, the goal should be to skip Banelings. And Clem, he's missed his window. Yes, he can be active like this, but alas, a couple of fungals will shut him down. Just one fungal, really. So Clem gets to be careful. Spot team Festers. Tell us about the Infestors. Rotating over. Infestors are somewhat in position. Fungals are coming in. Oh! I'll pick up. Save some Marines. Does get away. And here come the Ultras. Again, Hive is almost done into Ultra Cavern. Clem, he should be moving out soon, though. We're getting up to 8 minutes. So Clem can soon start to push. And we'll see if we can break Elazer. And I was just setting up for it. But I'm mining. Fungal does connect. The chain fungal even. Up! Oh my god, the Wild Safe barely graze the Metamax, but they do not bring them down. Clem gets away. He gets away, creep is receding. Clem still not moving out with his main army, just going for a drop play. That is a much more committed drop though. And if Clem doesn't push soon, the Ultras will pop out. They're coming. As Infestor in position, one Infestor goes down. Nice fungals. Oh my god. And I say barely pull away. Lanes a counterattack, and at this point, the Ultras will pop out. Now, on the one hand, Elazer, he has made it into the Ultra Tech. True, and there are no ghosts to worry about. No ghosts. So Ultras, they can reign supreme once the upgrades kick in. That's the other factor, of course. No kindness plating. No kindness plating. These are going to be 1-0 Ultras. Sorry, they're going to be 1-1. 1-1 Ultras. So just +1 carapace. So the Ultras are actually very fragile. They're very vulnerable, and Marauders can focus them down. So Elazer, he hasn't reached his final form yet. As Clem barely does miss one of the tumors. That's a little bit of creep. Oh, Uncle does crazy army. File on the first tank. Getting a medevac as well, not bad. The second tank barely goes down. Nice pickups. Elazer does catch both tanks. And kindness plating will finish. And 2-2 as well. The academy is only halfway done. The Elazer has momentum. Elazer, he has successfully just turtled up, defended long enough to get his Ultras out and to get his upgrades as well. I do appreciate the split push. Ooh, as Clem gets one out. See a massive fungal. Massive fungal. Nice engaged there by Elazer. He's forced to back off. Forced to pull away. Forced to pull back. Behind this, Clem is perfecting his army, and he's able to maintain his 4 bases. On the one hand, sure, Elazer, I don't think he can be killed. At the same time, I don't think he can move out either. Not into the bases of Clem. As Elazer is fighting for map control. Clem dropping into the main. Elazer's in position. Spire is now done. We should soon be seeing Corruptors. Clem, he is going to lose everything here. Gets the expansion, but I don't think that was quite worth it. Oh my god. Yeah, throwing away his entire bio army. Gonna be forced back. Nice catching the Marauders. At this point, we're just waiting for 3-3. Once 3-3 finishes, then Elazer can commit. But now just still being more defensive. Alien speed is on the way. Now we can finally get into the aliens as well. Elazer, he's rounding out his army. My big concern so far is still the lack of Corruptors. There's still 0 Corruptors for Elazer. And Clem should be switching to a more heavy Liberator composition. How many lose so far? 7. 7 Liberators. Got plenty of ghosts, CMPs, snipes. Army gets spotted. That's a lot of overseers. Oh my god. Oh my god. Yeah, massive mind connections. Nice catch on 2 of the ghosts. Clem does miss rally. Over the EMPs do connect. There's no more fungals. That was the only fungal. And now he can just chase. Yeah, Elazer, he's being shut down completely, losing every single infestor. Down to how many? Down to 1. 1 infestor left. Does have 1 fungal available. And Elazer's being outscaled at this point. Like, he just, it's going to be so difficult to engage. Due to the high ghost counts, the high liberator counts. Another extension goes down. This time Clem saves his army. True. Clem gets another base. Oh my god. Gets another hatchery. Nice, another expansion. LA is being pulled apart. 1 drop is being dealt with, but alas, another base will fall. Liberation has arrived. Okay, the ghosts are exposed. They're on their own. Nice round. A nice round as Clem does overextend. Again, his army's all over the place, but he snipes the hive. Jesus. The hive goes down. And now we finally have our Corruptors. They're on the way, but again, Elazer's losing bases. Economy's being denied. Elazer does have a bank to work with at least. Nice catch on 1 Liberators. Does get 1. And where's the... There we go. I was like, where's the main army? Like, Clem is just harassing. Just poking in with a couple of drops here and there. These are expensive drops, so losing 3 ghosts. And now I can move in. And now Clem should respond. The Helios, they just go ham here on the ultras. Getting 1, 2, 3 ultras go down. Oh my god, we're trying to force friendly fire, but there's nothing else. Yeah, there's nothing else on the ground here. 1 ultra survives. Clem is heavily, sorry, Elazer's heavily supply blocked. Ling runway is attempted. Clem, he can defend. Oh my god. Okay, he's fine. Oh my god. The mine shots are crazy. Yeah, the mine shots are insane. Nice ones on the main army, but again, this is the only ultra to get Kurs down. Got 5 more ultras on the way. They're coming. But again, when it comes to the style that Elazer went for, it does feel like if you don't strike, if you don't overwhelm your opponents with your first ultras, with your first kind of time with kindness plating, then you just get outscaled. You're just stuck with ultras, stuck with infestors. The switch into corrupted broodlord is not really there. Does get an expansion, right? Yeah. Takes out a planetary. But these are expensive losses for Elazer, as he will lose every single ultra. GG gets caught. Elazer runs out of steam, and Clem, he will claim the series 2-0. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Clem, he will claim the series. He will take down Elazer. Again, an interesting style here. We saw this against Gabe as well. As we did mention, this does have some vulnerabilities to it. Elazer going and rushing into the ultras did successfully do so. Like, I was very impressed. He was able to survive until ultras, like survive until the hive. But once he got the ultras, he couldn't do anything with them. Like, he just couldn't do anything. Again, Clem, he was able to turtle up back at home, build up into liberators, build up into ghosts, and that window where ultras were effective was closing. It was closing as the armor was taking up for Clem. And alas, Elazer, he was just stuck on ultras. He did have a spire, but no greater spire, and we only saw corruptors at the very end of the game. GG. GG, well played. With that, Clem does claim the series, and with that, we have our next matchup here. Going to be following Elazer into a ZVP instead. Into a ZVP, it's going to be Elazer versus Krystianer up next in that Zerg versus Protoss matchup. Oh boy. Now, historically, at least some time ago, Elazer, he was once the best player in all of Poland. I would say that that was followed by Spirit. Spirit did kind of take that place, or take that title from Elazer a couple of years ago. And nowadays, I will say that's what is kind of in contention. We have players like Geralt, we have Krystianer, we have Spirit, we have Elazer. I might even say that I favor Geralt's Krystianer and Spirit over Elazer currently, but we'll see. We'll see. As I mentioned before, Elazer, he recently came back. Elazer's still regaining his skill, and we'll see how Elazer compares to his fellow countrymen. Let's go. As spawning in the top left-hand corner of Ruby Rock, we have the Polish Zerg player. We have the red Zerg. It is Elazer. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Polish Protoss player, the blue Protoss representing Offside Esports. It is Krystianer. There we go. Now, if you recall, we were casting Krystianer against Young Yakov last night, and we were talking about how he has a very particular style to PvC that he's very fond of, and that is opening up with Archon drops, so going for a Robo follow-up after the Stargate, so Stargate into Robo, into Twilight Council, into Temple Archives, into delayed Archon drop. Is very fond of it. It is a bit of an older school style. We've seen a lot from the Polish or from European Protoss players in general, players like Mana, players like Krystianer, Geralt, alongside Skillus and MaxPax mixing it in as well. It's a style that never really caught on amongst the Korean Protosses. And that's what we're expecting here out of Krystianer. Not saying that's all he does, but more often than not, that's kind of what he does delve into. We'll see. See Leo in the chat. We like the tuna. Oh no. I don't like this. It is a nice tuna, to be fair, but also unrelated to the tournament. It's unrelated. For now, we have our Stargate open out of Krystianer, which is what we expect. It's the follow-up here that we expect to see something different. So Stargate's on the way into Oracle. Elazer, historically in ZVP, he's been renowned for being hyper greedy, for skipping spores, losing drones, losing 10, 15, 20 drones, and still being ahead economically. Like, that's the kind of player that Elazer historically has been. Nowadays, though, I feel like we've seen more spores. We've seen more of a safer, more defensive, more standard style out of Elazer in ZVP. We'll see if that holds true here. Krystianer, he will claim his third. And we're still waiting for that take of choice, whether it's a Twilight Council, a Forge, or a Robo. As Elazer breaks in, Adept is in position, the Oracle as well. Oh, Jesus. Elazer shouldn't get much done. So far we're settling in, just droning, saturating. Elazer, he's banking up a lot of gas actually. Interesting. So link speed, he pulled into gas a little bit earlier. Looks like Lair first after the Queen. And Krystianer's going for a standard follow-up, Forge and Twilight Council +1 and Blink most likely on the horizon here. Okay, standard follow-up. Yeah, my attention. Oh, as Elazer is going to go Roach Warren first here at 4:30, 4:37. So safe Roach Warren timing. Safe break in. There's that Robo. Oh, okay, so it is going to be the delayed Archon drop, but in a different fashion. If you remember, I mentioned how typically when it comes to delayed Archon drops, you go for a Stargate Opener Oracle into a Robo, then into Twilight Council, and then into Templar Archives. But here was a later Robo into an earlier Council, in towards, I guess, an earlier Temple Archives. It's a little bit more disjointed here. And as you can see, Krystianer's even making a second Temple Archives by accident. So it's a little bit messy. A little bit messy. This variation does mean early +1 at least, or earlier than normal. But hopefully we can cancel that Temple Archives. And Krystianer's distracted. Archives will complete. Oh, no, there it is. Thank God. It's cancelled. And the Overlord sees everything. And do you see what I see? Overlord speed. Now, to be fair, in the previous series against Clem, we saw non-stop Overlord speed just for scouting information, but that should not be the case here. This should be for an all-in. There it is. We have Drop Lords morphing in. It should be a German taxi. Lings, Queens, Roach is going to be rattling everything across the map. Elazer is all in. And Krystianer is going to be vulnerable. Now, defensively here, Blink would be ideal, but there's no Blink. We're going +1 in charge instead. Likewise, Archons are morphing in as well. This army's not the most efficient defensively, especially not against a Roach all-in. I do favor Elazer. I favor the initial all-in. Elazer's moving out. We'll see if Krystianer can hold. It's going to be a tough hold here. First Immortal's on the way. Stasis Trap is baited. Based at the Stasis. The Archon is initially trading well, at least until the shields hold. Until they hold. Until they don't. And cannons are finishing. One battery only has energy, or just one battery left with energy. The The Immortal will pop out. The control's been nice. Miles, they shut down the cannon. Yeah, cannon goes down. We got Vanilla Stalkers. Oof, and the first Archon falls. There's one Archon left. And Elazer, he's doing it. Yeah, Elazer, he has broken through, takes down both Archons. Getting himself the batteries. Some more Ravagers morphing in. That one Immortal's putting in a lot of work in the back line. On the Miles! Oh my god. The Miles pop off. And without Blink here, there's so many losses for Krystianer. The Artosis Island goes down, depowers all 4 shield batteries. No more batteries. And Elazer, he has done it. He has done it here. Has broken the 3rd base. You got Solots waddling in. Blink is still not yet done. One thing keeping Krystianer in this is that Immortal. Oh no! Oh god. As Biles connect. Yeah, Biles are connecting. The Immortal should go down. So 12 more roaches on the way. Elazer, his production here, I should say his macro is slipping a little bit, but it's fine. It's fine, but as the Immortal finally goes down, now there's only Blink Stalkers left. And again, one of the reasons why this defense was so difficult, even though Krystianer was getting ready ahead of time, is his build, right? His build of choice. As we mentioned at the time, Archon's charge was not really going to help defensively. Krystianer even canceled charge to get into Blink, but also late. Delayed Immortal production, and they never had one. And Elazer's just getting ready for the second wave. The second wave, the second push. He should not be stopped. I'm here to kill the 3rd, at the same time dropping into the main. Ambitious. These queens are not going to get much done, but they're distracting. They are distracting. GG gets called, and Elazer, he takes game number 1. He takes the lead in the series. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Elazer, he was able to scout, able to confirm the build of Krystianer, and react and respond with an all-in. Again, opening up Archon and opening up Charger Archon as well. You are so vulnerable to these all-ins. Your army that you're building up is very inefficient defensively, can be very aggressive, can be very assertive, catching armies out on the map if given time, but defensively, not ideal. Not ideal with that. GG, well played. Elazer takes the lead, and now we're going to be following Elazer and Krystianer into game number 2. Going to be loading into Winter Madness. Let's go. Let us go. And can we make a series out of this? The pressure is on. Pressure is on. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Winter Madness, we have the Polish Zerg player. We have the red Zerg. It is Elazer. And spawning in the top right hand corner, we have the Polish Protoss player. We have the blue Protoss representing Offside Esports. It is Krystianer. We go, and welcome one and all to Winter Madness. Winter Madness is a larger map of the map pool. All ins are weaker on this map, so if we were to go into an Archon drop, I would not be opposed to it. I would prefer it here on Winter Madness. I would have liked to have seen something more standard on Ruby Rock, right? Ruby Rock is known for all ins, as a smaller map, shorter rushes to by ground. Here we can go for greedier builds instead. We can cut some corners. Just trying to open up the doors. It's very hot today, very hot. And we're deep in summer here in Australia. Deep in the summer. We'll get through it. For now though, we're just getting to openers, hatch gas pool. Everything's looking normal so far. we'll just keep an eye on the tech from Krystianer and also on the lair timing for Elazer. As we get into a larger map, this is where something like Muta play is more accessible, true. So going to roaches followed by mutas is more viable here for Elazer. Is an option. Based on our pylon placement, should be a Stargate. Opening up Stargates. And again, we'll see if it's going to be a Twilight Council follow-up or a Robo instead. And the Overlord immediately scouts. Elazer, he immediately does confirm it is a Stargate. Fully aware. We should soon be seeing a third expansion here from Elazer. Jordan moves out, and Krystianer, he's here to block. Oh! He's here to chase. Chasing down the drone. Elazer expanding towards Krystianer. Bold move. Goes to the Horde base. Barely does get it down in time. And going for the forward base like this does mean that Elazer, if he were to go for an all-in, actually can spread creep across the map that much faster. True. That is going to be favored. Or that will help. Eyes on Elazer. Elazer. As Oracle moves out, Krystianer can now expand. Again, a pretty tame early game here for our PvZ, which is typically the case. Like, there's not often much variation in the early game in PvZ. A little bit more so in Protoss vs. Terran. Or the other matchups in general. Just kind of calming down. From here, Krystianer can move out. His goal is to look for the gases, look for any early tech, Roach Warren, Evo Chamber, Lair, to get an idea as to how Elazer wants to play. Once again, Fortune Twilight Council. I would assume this is +1 in Blink, but last game we did see he just skipped his up or delayed his upgrade. Oh my god! The Oracle takes a lot of hits, 5 drones go down, decent damage, and barely gets away. Krystianer, he barely does pull out, barely pulls away. There it is, a Robo follow-up. It looks like Archons. Looks like a Temple Archives into a delayed Twilight Council upgrade. So far, this is the same build. Same build 2 games in a row for Krystianer. Elazer going Roach Horn first. No Lair yet, just now throwing it down. 447. And as you mentioned, Twilight Council, no upgrade into Temple Archives. So delayed charge in favor of the Archons. But the Archon drop is coming. This is the build that Krystianer tried to go for last game and was shut down and denied by the all-in. I would say the all-in would be as successful here as well. Steps a shade into the natural. Getting another 5 drone kills. What is that? 10 in total. Oh my god. 11 drones go down. Nice damage so far by Krystianer. Elazer, he's had a shaky early game here. Overlord goes in for the scouts, and actually he's not going for charge, he's going into blink, and we have an early immortal as well. Okay, a much safer style by Krystianer, going into blink, going into immortals. Wait, what was the purpose of the fake out, I guess? Interesting. So there's a lot going on here. As you can see, the Temple Archives means nothing. There are no Archons. There's no Archons. There's no War Prism. It looks like Krystianer's trying to make it look like the same build and then just deviate away and ideally kind of bait his opponent into an all-in. But the problem is that he gets scouted, the Immortal is revealed, and Elazer, he wasn't all-inning, he was teching. Hydrogen is on the way, Infestation is on the way. I do favor Elazer in this position, as Krystianer is trying to hard counter an all-in. You can see here he's throwing down more batteries, the Immortals, the Blink. Krystianer assumed that Elazer was going for the same build, and Elazer just rushing into lurker tech. Oof. Despite that, there's still going to be 5 drone kills, but at least I'll snipe one of the oracles. No, but he's not done. Jesus. There it is. Hive is on the way. Lurker den as well. Taking extra gases. And Krystianer's going to make something happen soon. Hive is still on the way. Hive as they trickle out. Ooh, nice aces. Jeez. Clutch transfuse. Yeah, and Elazer, he's holding on. He's holding on. Sure, the Stalkers, they poke in. They do get a queen. But the aces will soon run out. And Krystianer, he has to get the hell out of here. Has to pull away. And Elazer, as he's rushing into his lurkers with Hive Tech upgrades already on the way, there's no good answer. At least not right now. Immortals can trade well. Immortal Archon can be an answer to lurkers. We'll see if Krystianer can pull this up. As Krystianer is pushing, lurkers are in position. Sleek lurkers soon to be 11 lurkers. And lurkers are revealed. Krystianer, he cannot push in. There's Revelation. At the same time, setting up for Ling Rambai. Krystianer, he rotates. Pushes it up. Ling's are premature. And Krystianer, we're going to Skytoss. Okay. And Krystianer, he runs into lurkers. His answer here is to go into Skytoss. He needs time, of course, to build up. The scary thing, of course, is that Elazer should be able to push first. There should be a window in time where Elazer can move out, so before the Skytoss is ready. Should be a window here. I still let run by. Does distract. The swarms are getting up. Still only 11 lurkers. We could have seen more. Nice CranKy with the Hydras there. There is no storm. Not yet. Krystianer trying to gain ground. Elazer was out of position at the same time. Lurkers, they do go for the counterattack. Yeah, and bases are falling. Defensive lurkers back at home. Krystianer, he might get the expansion here. Looks like he will. But at a cost. That's Krystianer who loses the Nexus. Hydras, they lunge in. Storm is ready. There's one storm. Oh. Yeah, there's one storm available. But Krystianer cannot expand. We got creep covering the right hand side. Nexus going down the left. Krystianer switching into carrier production. But there are plenty of Hydras. Oh no! And lurkers, they force a reaction at the same time. Elazer just ensures there's no fourth expansion. Once again, no fourth base. Lings, they bust into the middle line. Probes are going down, and Krystianer's just being pulled apart completely. He cannot keep up. Not like this. 11 probes going down. Krystianer, he's all in. If there are no defensive lurkers, Krystianer, he can push through. And no lurkers defensively. Drones just being thrown away. And we're going for the base trade. We're going for the base trade. Oh my god, massive storm in the mineral line. Krystianer, he does have a couple more storms. He has more storms available. And now down to what? 3 High Templar. Another storm zones away. Yeah, another storm zones. And again, this army's not going to get any bigger. This is all that's left. Oh no, the flank. Elazer coming in. Nice spread. Very nice spread. And that's all we have left. Yeah, that's all the Krystianer had left here. Losing the Immortal, the Archon, down to 1 Immortal. The Mothership trickles in. But Elazer's still making Hydras. GG gets called, and Elazer will take the series 2-0, taking down Krystianer. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Again, an interesting build here by Krystianer, going for, it looked to be a fake out in my eyes, to see the Temple Archives but to not go into an Archon drop. To me, and also to see the shield batteries and the Immortals, it does feel like Krystianer was expecting Elazer to go for the same all-in. If Elazer did go for the all-in, then Krystianer would just completely punish and shut it down. But Elazer macroed. Elazer, he droned up, got a 4th base, got a 5th base, got into Hive Tech, got into Lurkers instead, and Elazer outscaled. As we mentioned, once the Lurkers hit the field, Krystianer wasn't ready for it. He didn't have the economy, didn't have the setup, the tech. He was trying to go into Skytals, but too little, too late. GG. GG, well played. Whew. And with that, Elazer does claim the series, and we are going to be cutting to a short break. Here. We have 2 series left, 2 series remaining. Up next is going to be Fjant versus Harstem, followed by Clem versus HeroMarine. After the break, we'll see you soon. See you soon. Bye. See you soon. And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to our coverage of the HomeStory Cup 28 Group Stage, Group C. We're nearing the tail end of the broadcast here. Some faster series is what I will say compared to last time. Some faster series, still 5 best of 3s, and we just wrapped up with 3 of them, and we have 2 best of 3s remaining. Let us switch our scenes over here and catch up on the matches themselves. We jumped into our first best of. It was Gabe versus Harstem. A bit of a shorter, a lot of aggression, a lot of 2-base play, all ins from both sides, but Gabe did take him down 2-0. We had Clem versus Elazer. Elazer did have a bit of a longer series, but Elazer, he was showcasing this more kind of tech-heavy style, basically like fast lair into fast overseer scout into roach infestor ultra, but in a really greedy kind of way. It's interesting. Like, I understand the theory behind it. We do see something similar out of players like Shin, like Rainer. We have seen we've seen a lot of that quite heavily over the past couple of months, but I haven't quite seen a build as chaotic or as greedy and as intentional as Elazer's. The problem with it, of course, was that in the series we saw that he eventually got into ultras, but he was kind of stuck on ultras, and Clem was able to outscale him, was able to take up into ghosts, into liberators, and Elazer wasn't able to really achieve too much with said ultras. That then led us here into game 3, or into our third series, with Elazer and Krystianer. With Krystianer going into his tried and true Archon drop opener in game 1, he got all in. In game 2, he faked it, but Elazer didn't all in. Elazer out-teched him into lurkers. GG well played. So we've yet to really experience much of a back and forth, considering that last time we had a bunch of ace matches. Like, like the first half was crazy. Quickly switching over here, bam, you can see it here. This was yesterday's group stage coverage, and we had almost non-stop ace matches, back and forth, longer games between Gabe and Fjant, Gabe and Elazer, Harstem and Elazer, Gabe and Krystianer. Like, it was a really intense back and forth. I do recommend it. Here it's been a little bit more one-sided in the second half of said group, and we'll see if that trend continues. Up next, we have Fjant versus Harstem. They're going to be facing off in a ZVP, and we'll see how they compare to each other. Let's go. Let us go. Fjant, of course, is an up-and-coming Zerg player here. He's up-and-coming. He's not the most active player nowadays, similar to Harstem, where Fjant doesn't play in the most amount of open cups, but is still, of course, up-and-coming and still quite young, I should emphasize as well. And here we go. Spawning in the top right-hand corner of Tourmaline, we have the Swedish Zerg player. We have the blue Zerg for T-Roddy. It is Fjant. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the red Protoss player from land of the Netherlands representing Shopify. It is Harstem. Here we go. As we're delving into our ZVP, as we're delving into Tourmaline. Tourmaline is one of the smaller maps in the map pool. Hyper-aggression is favored here as well, and we are leaning and expecting all-ins here on a map like Tourmaline. We did see Fjant be hyper-aggressive yesterday as well, so I'm leaning more towards that here from Fjant. We'll keep an eye on it. Hello. As Harstem, he does veer off towards the left-hand side. Interesting. Intentionally not going for the probe scout, and it's going to be Harstem setting up for... Oh, never mind. He's going for the scouts. For a moment, I was like, is he going to throw down a proxy pylon, go proxy Stargate or something of that nature? The answer is no. Does dip in and does confirm. So it gets eyes on the hatch gas pool, standard opener. Standard opener out of Fjant. Harstem likewise going for a gate expand, and nothing crazy. Just interesting pathing with the probe. Outside of that, we are going to be building up. Well, lad, how's your bunny doing? Bunny's doing well. Bunny's recovering. I think I mentioned this last time, but yes. Bunnies are in their recovery pens, improving. The next big thing that most likely I'm going to work on this upcoming week, if I have a little bit of time, is trying to rebond. I think that's going to be the next step. Because of all the vet visits, because of all the hospital visits and the operations and everything that's been going on, my pet bunnies, they've been separated for almost 2 months, like a month and a half at this point. It's like we're reaching a month and a half, and because they've been separated for that amount of time, like they're sisters, but their bond has been broken. So we're gonna have to rebond, and hopefully everything goes well. Basically, because they've been separated for so long, like they're very scent based, and their scents are now a little bit less familiar to each other. So they're not as close as they once were. So we've got to reintroduce them, basically. Oh. As Harstem does up into the main. Deny mining and causing a little bit of chaos here in between the bases. Both the main base and the natural. So denying mining time. Behind this Stargate opener out of Harstem, opening up Oracle into a third. Harstem, he did forget his third base though. He's banking up minerals. He has got 500 minerals, soon to be 600. He should have a third base by now. So a little bit messy here. I don't know if you noticed, but the probe was in position, but actually pulled back. So yeah, a bit of a delayed expansion. Just distracted by the Ling in the main. Next gets thrown down. Fjant does poke in. But from here we do continue. Oh, as the wall was on a wall. Yeah, Lings, they step into the main. They get a full scout. They confirm the Twilight Council timing. That's an early council out of Harstem. Early council, late forge. Now, if I remember correctly, I'm pulling this back from the previous HomeStory Cup, from HomeStory Cup 27. Harstem, he was fond of going for an early Twilight Council into Blink, into delayed Forge, not necessarily for an all-in. If this was any other player, I would assume Glaive Adepts, right? I would assume Glaive Adepts, but Harstem just got scouted, so does he still commit into Glaives, or do we go into Blink? Meanwhile, 5 drones go down. Nice harassment there by Harstem. The Oracle does pop up. And there it is, Glaives. Okay, so he still commits. So Glaive Adepts here. Bearing in mind that Fjant did already scout, he saw enough to confirm Glaive Adepts himself. And we do see Fjant going for a safety Baneling Nest. Ooh, bold move. Going for a Baneling defense here is difficult against Glaive Adepts. Not impossible, but it is difficult. Your goal is to try to catch the Adepts, lock them down, and then have your slow Banelings crash in. I'd say it's a bit of a greedy response. And we'll see if Fjant can pull this off. As Harstem does move in. Threatening a shade. Elazer finishing up. And here come those Banelings, morphing in 6. Harstem, he commits. Yeah, he commits to the shade, gets one. One drone goes down, and does force a recall. At the same time, Oracle's able to hit the naturals. Spores in position. So far, nice defense here by Fjant. Defends well. Now, the scary thing about this defense is that Harstem, he did invest into all these Adepts, into Glaives, and so far has not paid for itself. Harstem's falling behind. And Fjant, can he surround? Let's catch an Adept. Let's catch one. Adepts, they commit across the map, which means Lings, they can't hit the mineral line. Oh, actually, they turn around. Banelings getting ready. Banelings are getting ready. We don't want to waste them. Lings, they collapse in. Banelings are in position. Oh my god, does cancel the shade. Yeah, shade is cancelled. Lings are being dealt with. Fjant should be able to hold on here. Oh no, he commits! Massive connections. Oh my god. Fjant catches out the Adepts, and Fjant he defends. He defends well here, losing 4 drones. Oh, up to 5. 5 drones go down, but that could have been so much worse. The one scary thing though is that Fjant has not been droning. Yeah, he's not been droning. But again, very patient play with those Banelings. As Fjant is now redroning, resaturating. Behind this, going into Ling Bane Hydra. And we'll see if we can find any damage with these Lings. Not quite. Batteries on the way. We can see Harstem just building up this death wall of an army, going to Archons, Immortals, and Storm. Ooh, more Adepts do make it across the map though. And this is getting out of hand. It's getting a bit out of hand here. Another 5 drones go down. Fjant he'll still trying to recover. Does cancel the shade. Cancel, still behind the mineral line. And again, a very shaky defense here from Fjant. And Harstem, he's pushing. He's got Storm. Storm is ready. +1, charge. He's got 2 Archons and an Immortal. And again, it's going to be a tough hold here for Fjant. Ay, ay, ay. Let's collapse in. Oh! Bailey's they do force out the Archons. Okay. Very nice. No more storms. Yeah, 0 storms. But there aren't enough Hydras here. Yeah, not enough Hydras, not enough Roaches. That was maybe best case scenario for Fjant outside of killing the High Templar. But the Warbinds continue. Yeah, the Warbinds do continue. Harstem, he overwhelms. Breaks through the Roaches, breaks through the Hydras, and breaks the Natural. There's nothing left. And with that, Harstem willing to claim a win. Willing to claim a win here. Oh god. Spoilers are being pulled away. GG gets called. And Harstem takes game number 1. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Again, Fjant, he was able to scout the tech, he was able to confirm the Glaive Adepts, and he more or less was able to keep up, but over time, more and more damage was being dealt, right? We saw so many drones going down throughout the course of the game. They weren't going down in any kind of major bulk or major batch, but over the course of the game itself, you know, 5 drones here, 5 drones there, then another 5 drones, and did add up. Unfortunately, Fjant was re-droning, and because of that, his army was lacking. Harstem able to move out with his storm timing. Didn't actually land with storms, but still a beefy army nonetheless. GG. GG, well played. With that, Harstem takes the lead. And now we're going to be loading into game number 2. Let's go. Going to be loading into Winter Madness. We go from one of the smaller maps into one of the larger maps. Here we go. As spawning in the top left-hand corner here of Winter Madness, we have the Swedish Zerg player. We have the blue Zerg representing Team Roddy. It is Fjant. And spawning in the bottom-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the red Protoss player, red Protoss himself from the Netherlands. It is Harstem. For Shopify Rebellion. Go. So now we are going to be opening up. Once again, standard openers. Last game, Harstem did open up Stargate into third base into early Twilight Council, which led into Glaive Adepts. I don't expect to see Glaive Adepts again here in this series, or at least in game 2. This map is larger, so it takes a longer time for the Adepts to get across the map. Likewise, Fjant has more time to react, to respond, to defend, so that kind of play is less desirable here on Winter Madness. Likewise, doing it 2 games in a row, Fjant mentally is also going to be better prepared. So we should be seeing something different out of Harstem. Should be. Otherwise, we're going to calm down. Going to be joining up. Likewise from Fjant, I don't really think there's many aggressive options for him here on Winter Madness. We could see Mutaplay, for example. Again, I haven't covered Fjant in quite some time, so I don't know what kind of tendencies he has. We're here kind of experience that ourselves. Whether he's one to tech up in towards lurkers, whether he's one to embrace the mid-game instead of a 3-base economy. don't really feel game one really told us much outside of Fjant cutting corners. Now Fjant claiming his third. Stargate open out of Harstem. Everything looking as it should. Ooh, the Overlord is going to be denied. The Overlord is actually going to go down. One more shot. Ooh, that's a kill on the Overlord. Rough loss early on here for Fjant. Ay, ay, ay. Again, there is no safe Overlord pillar here at the natural Winter Madness. And Fjant is supply blocked. Does get supply blocked here. On top of that, that Overlord was meant to scout the main. Like, that Overlord was meant to confirm what's going on. So, Harstem, without even going Void Ray, if he wanted to, he could go for a fast second Stargate, a Fleet Beacon, an earlier Twilight Council. Harstem has options. As Fjant is going to be playing blind. He's playing blind. So Harstem does claim his third. A much cleaner timing here compared to game one. Yep, there it is, Fleet Beacon. Which makes sense. Now again, this isn't necessarily like a standard response or a standard follow-up, but because Fjant lost that Overlord, as we were mentioning, as we were emphasizing, this does become more accessible for Harstem. Whether it was going to be a Fleet Beacon or a Twilight Council or even a Robo follow-up, like something crazy, something more tech-heavy. And Fjant is playing blind. The Overlord movement from Fjant in the early game almost reminds me of like someone who's maybe not as well versed, maybe with the maps, or not as practiced. You kind of like autopilot and you just send your Overlord to the natural, whereas on some maps it's not safe to do so. Felt like an autopilot kind of maneuver. They've all been there. Tempest are amassing, so we're rushing into Tempest. And we do see that Fjant is getting a safety Roach Warren, so unlike last time, if there were Glaive Adepts, he'd have Roaches to defend instead of Banelings. But as we can see, Harstem is backing up those Tempest. Lair is on the way. Once the Lair finishes, then Fjant can go for an Overseer Scouts. Until then, Fjant is still playing blind. Just waiting for that Overseer. Waiting for that Lair. And we can see that Harstem is not going pure Sky Toss, is going into a Twilight Council and Forge. It should be a Tempest into Charge. Into Charge, Archon Storm. With a supportive ground composition. Tempest, they move out for the first time. We have 3, soon to be 5 Tempest. And how many Queens are there? 5. So far there's 5 Queens. That's not a lot. Ay, ay, ay. We have Tectonic Destabilizers on the way. That's for bonus damage to structures. Tempest, they move in. And Tempest are revealed for the first time. There's the first chance to use. One Queen is going to go down. Oh, a chance to use barely does keep it alive. Okay. Queen survives. Tempest, so far they kite well. Take down the Spore. Spire has begun. And we can see Fjant instantly counterattack. He has to do something with the Grand Army. Fjant is going for the runway. Queen does fall. Down to 3 Queens. No battery. Ooh, no shield battery here at the natural. The Link Roach does flood in. Yeah, this should not be happening. The wall is open. Yeah, the wall is wide open here. We have 3 Adepts to defend, and Harstem's getting caught with his pants down. Even supply blocked. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, Harstem's supply block is rushing back home. Rushing back home to defend. Probes are going down. Switching to Void Rays. Oh, that's going to be, what, 20 plus probes falling. Ay, ay, ay. Meanwhile, the main Roach Army does hit the 3rd. Knocking down the Zealots. Getting into the mineral line, there's nothing left in the natural, and that's going to be 34 plus frozen. Do we get 40? Oh, God. 40, 45. This is game-ending damage. Game-ending damage here. Again, Harstem going into Tempest wasn't bad. He was unscouted. He got across the map. He was doing damage. Unfortunately, Harstem, he was woefully underprepared back at home. The pants were down. No safety battery. No war pins either to block off, to wall off. And that's going to be 48 probe kills. Barely not 50. And Fjant takes a massive lead. Fjant, he's got a Spire. Corruptors are amassing. Fjant is miles ahead. And sure, we have a couple of Tempests left over, but at this point there are plenty of Corruptors. More than enough. It's going to be 9 Corruptors here for Fjant. He has his anti-air. Fjant. Yeah, as we see Fjant's pushing. Honestly, he doesn't need to. Like, if Fjant wanted to, he could just chill. He just chill, take another base, drone up, tech up in a hive, throw down infestation pits, get ready with more upgrades. Fjant could just calm down, but he's pushing. Fjant, he will soon max out. Then he wants to break Harstem. At least scouts and confirms all the Archons. Ground army's moving in. It's going to be a lot of Ravagers. That's a lot of Ravagers, Pappy. Yeah. First cannon goes down. Army does collapse in. And again, shows those miles. Get boss on the Tempest. Oh my god. Get boss connect. Jesus, Void Rays go down. Yeah, down go the Void Rays, down go the Archons. More biles on the Tempest, and oh god, they do crazy army. Thankfully, there are no more Corruptors, but the Wiles are still connecting. The Wiles, Pappy. They ran down to the mineral line. The main army has been broken. We have more Corruptors rallying in. Oof, and GG gets called. GG gets called. Harstem, he has nothing left, and Fjant, he will tap the series 1-1. Whew, GG. GG, well played. Fjant does force the ace match. Again, Harstem, the initial build I was quite fond of after denying the Overlord scout, after catching the Overlord, going for the Tempest, going for the rush across the map. Went unscouted. Fjant had no idea that Tempests were coming his way, but he just counterattacked. He counterattacked, and Harstem was woefully underprepared. The pants were down. No safety battery, no force field, no sentry, no additional war pins, no nothing back at home. GG. GG, well played. And with that, Fjant dealt crippling damage. Now we're getting into the ace match. Let's go. Going to be loading into the Old Republic. And spawning in the top right-hand corner of the Old Republic, we have the Swedish Zerg player. We have the red Zerg, sorry, the blue Zerg, representing Team Roddy. It is Fjant. Tying up the series 1-1, and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the red Protoss player, the red Protoss representing Shopper Rebellion. It is Harstem. Go. Go. So we are going to settle in, and we'll see what Harstem goes for this time. Game 1, Harstem went into Glaive Eps. Game 2, Harstem went into Tempest. Game 3, what's left? I think we can rule out standard play. I don't see Harstem playing standard. He's not really that kind of player. Going for something more cheeky, something more unorthodox is what we expect. We could see an Archon drop. True, we could see DT base opener. We could see delayed Archon drop instead. As we look into the Old Republic, do we actually see a standard build? Eyes are on Harstem. Eyes are on Harstem. It's going to be more on Fjant to scout and to react to what Harstem's up to. Overlord does move out. And hopefully we don't lose the Overlord early this time. Hopefully. Harstem's my favorite European pros. Yeah, Harstem, he's a very entertaining guy. Entertaining, man. For sure, for sure. He's a man of the people. Man of the people. Pulls the pokes in. This time we'll be Adept first, not Stalker. The Overlord should be safe. Should be fine. And we do have our Stargate. So just like every game we've experienced so far, it is going to be a Stargate opener, but it's the follow-up here that is typically more unorthodox, more unusual. It's the follow-up which matters most. Okay. That's Fjant is joining. From here we can get into our Oracle, into our third base. Technically Harstem could open Void Ray, but based on the rally here should be the Oracle. Ah, Stalker follow-up. Okay. He wants that Overlord and it's being left idle. No, no. Yeah, the Overlord is in danger. It's going to be shut down. Again, there's no pillar here to save it. The pillar's further back here towards the center. Stalker does give chase. As the Stalker moves out, Lings are moving in. Back at home, there's one Adept in position. The Oracle is towards the center. Does with the Lings. It should be fine. Should be fine. Harstem is keeping up. And is going for the Twilight Council in the Forge. This time a much more standard timing. So there's a higher chance this is +1 and Blink. Higher chance this is actually a standard game. Okay. Show us what you got. We have been seeing a rising popularity of +1 and charge based follow-ups instead, especially from the Korean Protoss players. I don't really know if Harstem is one to go for that style though. It's much more aggressive. As he pokes in, gets one, gets two drones. Two drones go down, second Oracle does arrive. But doesn't get in. Taking a lot of damage. Does take a lot of hits. At the same time, Lings get across the map. Elazer are 2 Adepts in position. Harstem, he is holding on. Oh, and we do have the answer. It is +1 in charge. Okay, so it is going to be that more aggressive follow-up. This is designed to punish a player that is skipping roaches and skipping banelings. Speaking of, we don't have... Also, we do have a roach run behind the mineral line, so Fjant, he does hide his tech, and Fjant is playing safe. Nice round. No shield battery. Yeah, no battery. Both Adepts will go down. Greedy here from Harstem. No battery, lacking defense. Lings taking around the Zelda as well. Jesus. Yeah, getting more damage than should have happened here. So far, Fjant is holding his own. He's doing well. Behind this, Harstem taking up in towards Storm, towards Archons. But he's kind of stumbling his way there. And again, as you mentioned, ideally this is against Ling Hydra, but it's going to be Roaches. As Roach production has begun. Lings, of course, they scattered the Zealots. Oh, Jesus. That's loud. But Fjant, scan those zealots warping in, screams charge, so he knows. Like Fjant, he's fully aware of the composition. And now he confirms. Confirms the Archon. So Fjant knows he needs more roaches. We have safety roaches amassing. This is slowing down Fjant's saturation. We could be seeing more drones at the 4th base, but Fjant is trying to play safe. And it's going to pay off because Harstem is moving out. Yeah, Harstem is pushing. Lings, they barely don't get the cannon. And here comes Harstem. Again, he's committed here on 3 bases. Cannon went down. Harstem turns around. Oh. A little bit concerning. He saw the roach. I mean, it's a wise move. Harstem, he scans. Oh, sorry, he reveals. He spots the army. Harstem recognizes he cannot break through. But that will trigger a counterattack. So now Harstem has to wall up back at home. We need cannons, shield batteries. Harstem has to get ready. His army is very vulnerable right now. Fjant is coming. And now he throws down the cannons. He's getting cannons in the bases. Oof. Yeah, he's not setting up here defensively. He's not set up at the 3rd. The army has arrived, and Harstem, he has 1 immortal. No storm, 1 Archon as well. Harstem is not ready. The Panzer down. Yeah, the Panzer down once again. Harstem, he saw the army. He knew what was coming his way. And Harstem will lose everything. He'll lose everything here. Yeah, Fjant's nobly out of control. Committing, making 26 more roaches behind this. Prison does attempt to harass. Does attempt. And we're just rallying. We're just rallying across. I'm a little bit surprised there were no Ravagers morphed in. As I say that, there we go. 4 Ravagers are now morphing in. Zealot harass across the map. But again, there's only 1 battery here at the 3rd. Storm is done, but the High Templar aren't ready. They need more time. They need more time, they need more energy. Fjant has to make a choice. Does he go for the expansion? Does he dive on the army? He's trying to do both. Going for the Templar. There's her Storm. The Storm does land. Yeah, decent Storm, but the base is going to go down. Yeah, 20 plus probe kills. There's 3 immortals left. The immortals, I mean, there's a healthy immortal count, but there's no support. There's no support. 4 immortals. Getting up to 5. As the wall is falling, Fjant is maxed out. Again, there's no batteries here, there's no defensive setup. So we can just stutter step in. It's still an inefficient fight here for Fjant. These immortals, they just go to town on the roaches, but there's not enough here. It's only immortal. Their base goes down. Fjant's forcing his way in. There are 5 immortals. But GG gets called. GG gets called. Harstem is broken, and Fjant will claim the series 2-1, taking down Harstem. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Fjant will claim the series. An impressive performance here by Fjant. Harstem, he did have some cheeky builds here. Game 1, we saw Harstem going to Glaive Adepts. Game 2, we saw Harstem rush into Tempest. And Game 3, we saw Harstem going to a charge follow-up instead, which has been very successful as of late. But as we mentioned at the time, going to charge like this, you're heavily reliant on your opponent skipping roaches. Skipping banelings, and going to more greedier composition. Harstem, when he moved out, he did scan, or I keep saying scan, he did reveal the army. He did move in with his Oracle. He scouted, as I should say, he saw the massive amount of roaches, and Harstem had the wherewithal to pull away. He was like, oh, you have too many roaches, I cannot push into you. That would really benefit the Zerg player. Actually, I need to back off and set up defensively. But Harstem didn't set up defensively. If you saw, he actually got cannons in his mineral lines. That tells me that he was a little bit afraid of Muta play. He was like blindly trying to counter Spire and Muta as a response, when really he needed to get ready for the roach counterattack. He didn't quite respect that. He saw the roaches, but he wasn't ready for them defensively. He didn't throw down shield batteries, any defensive setup. GG. GG, well played, Harstem. He was caught with his pants down, and with that, Fjant will claim the series. And now we have 1 matchup left here. Going to be getting into a best of 3 between who? Between Clem and HeroMarine, the top 2 players of the group. Oh boy. Here we go. The top two, the top two, they do face off, and we'll see how Gabe can handle Clem's Protoss. As a reminder, Clem, he has not played a TVT in over a year. It's been over a year at this point, since Clem has it. Actually, almost a year and a half at this point. Since Clem has played a TVT competitively, it's been non-stop Protoss against other Terran players. And again, Clem, he has some of the best PvT in the world. Oh boy, we'll see if Gabe can compare. We'll see what he has in store for him. Let's go. Let's go. Here we go. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner of 10,000 feet, we have the French Protoss player, the French Protoss himself. We have the blue Protoss representing Team Liquid. It is Clem. And spawning in the top left-hand corner. Top left-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the red Terran player. We have the German Terran representing Mouse. It is HeroMarine. Just catching with the chat. I don't get it. Why is this live at 3 a.m.? Oh, if you're watching from Europe, it is very, very late. Very, very late in the evening. But this is a German event. It's in Krefeld, Germany, HomeStory Cup. But of course, this is a replay cast. This is a replay cast. It is in the title of both the YouTube and the Twitch stream. Cast in the title. And yes, this is. Here we go. Yes. The event was held in Germany, but this is a replay cast. Again, typically, for the past couple of years, here on the CranKy Ducklings, we have been the official B stream for the HomeStory Cup, and we did cast it live on a regular basis for the past like 3-4 years. But this most recent HomeStory Cup, we were unavailable. So we could not cast it live. So that is why we are covering it via replays. In years past, we would cast it live. Okay. Just as a heads up, as a reminder. So unfortunately, we were unavailable, and we're catching up with these replays instead. Catching up. For now, though, we do have our Gate Expand. Gate Expand is a cyber core. Standard opening here by Clem. Likewise, Gabe going double gas. Okay, so when it comes to PvT, when it comes to Clem's Protoss, Clem, he is renowned for his mid-game, play specifically. That is typically where Clem does thrive in this matchup. In his mid-game, mid to late game as well. Meanwhile, Gabe, I would imagine, especially what we've seen in the past, should be looking to try to end the game early, to try to break a Clem early on, shut him down, and ensure that Clem doesn't get comfortable. Welcome to 10,000 feet. 10,000 feet is one of the smaller maps in the map pool. All-ins here are going to be more favored. And if you recall, we did cast Gabe versus Harstem earlier in the broadcast, and Gabe did all-in. Like, he was going for hyper-aggressive builds, did all-in the hell out of Harstem, did shut him down. So we'll see if Gabe can do something similar here to Clem. We shall see. As again, Clem, he has some of the best PvT in the world. There's only one Terran player that Clem has not beaten, and that is Maru. And the only reason for that is because they never played. They have not played. If you recall, in Rongi Cup, I was expecting to see them in the semifinals, but Trigger did defeat Clem, so we never got to see Maru versus Clem. We still just haven't seen it. Except for that one time on the ladder. True. Like, they have hit each other on the ladder before, but outside of ladder games, like, they haven't played in a competitive setting. It feels bad, man. Streamer Hellion does break in. Again, for now, it's going to be a Twilight Counter open out to Clem. Clem opening up Blink, and we'll see if he goes into 3-gate Blink or 2-gate Blink. How greedy is Clem going to be? Meanwhile, for Gabe to commit into Triple Reaper Double Hellion, he has to get damage done. This is a big commitment. Big commitment here by Gabe. The goal here is to get into the mineral line, but there's a safety shield battery. There's a battery here at the natural. Force field also available. Army does rush past, though. Yeah, it does rush past. One Hellion goes down, but the army does get into the main, and probes will fall. How many? Getting 2, getting up to 3. 3, 4 probes go down. Nice damage here by Gabe, getting up to 5, 6 probe kills. Not bad. So 6 probes for 2 Hellions and 3 Reapers. Not a bad trade here by Gabe. Again, my concern was that he would get 0 damage, but he slipped by. He was able to slip by. And with that, the opener was worth of a Gabe. Behind this, switching into Cloak Banshee. Again, the aggression continues. 2 Banshees will one-shot probes, so even with a shield battery, even if there's a battery in the mineral line, Banshees can still overwhelm. Ooh, but Clem scouts. Yeah, Clem, he scouts, he gets into the main base, he confirms the cloak, he sees the research. Does see the research. Did find the first Banshee. And does chase him down. Behind this, going for the 3rd base before the Robo. So this was a greedy build by Clem. There's a reason why he struggled a little bit here in the early game. Clem, he went 2 gate blink into a 3rd base before Robo and before 3rd gateway. So very greedy build here by Clem. A little bit surprising. I feel like you often don't see this on 10,000 feet, so very risky. But he is going to get away with it. Because of this greed, on the one hand, yes, Gabe, he got 6 probe kills. On the other hand, Clem makes up for that with the faster 3rd base. Ideally, with this build, Clem wanted to get ahead economically, but instead, he's going to be able to even things up. As the Banshee pokes in, gets 2 probes. Nice damage here. And again, the pressure's on Gabe to try to punish the greed of Clem. And Gabe has done well so far. Oh, este Lumia pack. Reaper Hellion Banshee openers common in TvP these days. Would I say common? Relatively common. I would say that right now in TvP there's a lot of variety. There's a lot of variety when it comes to Widowmine drop openers, or Reaper Hellion Banshee, or Reaper Hellion Raven, for example, like Raven follow-up instead. There is a lot of variety. From the Terran side. From the Protoss side, it's a little bit more limited. From the Protoss side, it's like 2 gate blink, 3 gate blink, or 4 gate blink, or Stargate. It's a little bit more limited in set opening options. So far, we do have our Bay. So Bay behind the main base, building up into Colossus, not Storm. Like Widowmine drops, like Proxy Starport into Hellion drops. Got a lot of variety. As Hallucination does confirm the 3rd CC, so Clem is aware that Gabe is building up into a more mid-game play, into a macro game. And Clem can settle in. From here, yep, it prompts him to take his 4th base. So a well-timed 4th. As Gabe gets his 3rd. Meanwhile, double Banshee towards the 3rd base. Remember, they can one-shot probes. They do sit by. Clem is somewhat in position, but probes are still going to go down. Being 1, 2, 3 probe kills. 4 probes, even 5. 5 probes go down. Nice damage. As the Banshee's distracted, Gabe is pushing forward. His main army is activated. Gets spotted by the Stalker. Clem is aware. And remember, specifically on 10,000 feet, tanks can siege up behind this ravine and they can hit the mineral line. Like, this mineral line is exposed to tanks. So we could see Gabe abuse this. Oh, nice catch on one of the Banshees. Banshee finally does go down. The base is still soon to be saturated. And Clem will have to fight for control of the center of the map. As we are embracing that mid game. Let's go. We embrace it, Pat. Clem even rushing into his 5th base. This is a little bit greedy here. Okay, very fast 5th. He throws it down as he saw the center tower. Again, if Gabe is going to be more turtle heavy here, then Clem can get away with this. Clem going for his 2nd Robo as well, so double Colossal production into double Disruptors. Clem is building up and looking to get away with some greed. And I feel like he will. At this point, yep, Gabe, he's just turtling up, throwing down more turrets, more sensor towers, bunkers, setting up his SimCity. We're getting ready for the late game. We're building up to the late game. Speaking of this base being exposed, it goes both ways. Colossus, they take down the gas geyser. Gabe is getting his 4th CC, again indicating that we're building up into the late game. And right now it's going to be on Clem not to break the center position, but to delay the 4th. Takes down the turrets. Vikings, they get a free volley off. Ooh, the Colossus taking a lot of hits. Colossus have to be careful as Clem distracts. Again, going for the drop, getting a 6th expansion behind this as well. Again, just mass expanding. Keeping Gabe busy. And as we mentioned, Clem has no intention of committing. Just poking in, pulling away. Prism gets into the main. Going for the warp in. And now he can push in. And now he can try to break through. Blinks on forward. Gets one of the tanks. He gets 1, 2, 3. Can he get the 3rd tank? Not quite. So 2 tanks go down. At the same time, 12 SCV kills. More warp ins into the main. And Gabe is being pulled apart here. The Prism barely gets away. And Clem doesn't kill, but Clem cripples. Clem cripples Gabe. Getting 18 SCV kills. Takes on the sensor tower. Again, containing Gabe. 4th base has been spotted. Clem getting ready for a run by. Once again, not really allowing Gabe to breathe. Pokes in, Nova goes up. Decent connection. Zalza hit the 4th base. SCVs are going down, losing up to 22 SCVs. Can he kill the CC? No shot. Does lift. Whew. Does lift in time. Gabe is keeping up. Somewhat at least. He's trying to hold on. Now what's important is that Gabe, he's been slowly building up his Viking counts. He's getting a 2nd starport, and there should be 4 Liberators. Things are looking rough here for Gabe, 100%. But if Gabe can stabilize on 4 bases, if he can slow the game down, if he can wall up with tanks and Liberators, then he can stabilize. Stabilize. He's still getting there. They have Clem switching into Mass Disruptor. And she gets across the map. The Viking count is still quite low, only 4 Vikings. Gabe is very bio heavy. A lot of Marines, a lot of Marauders. And here come the Novas. Oh my god, massive connections. The splits are not there. And Nova pops off. Punishing Gabe. Oh. Has to be careful with those disruptors. Has to be careful. Oh. Grazing the tank. And we spoke earlier about Gabe trying to get into Liberators. I mean, there's the Fusion Core. The Fusion Core is for Liberator range, but Gabe is still a ways away. He needs more time. Again, just losing all those SCVs has heavily delayed Gabe. Oh. He wants to get to the freedom back. It's going up. Oof. Once again, punishing the pyre. Better splits towards the end. But remember, Clem is getting a 7th expansion. Clem can afford to trade. He can afford to be inefficient. The scary thing is that he hasn't really been inefficient. It's like, that's what's scary. He's been trading well. Flipping the Marauders. Toss clip. Oh god, massive connections, catching out more Marauders. Rough losses there for Gabe. And this time going for the tanks, it gets 2. 2 tanks go down. Punishing the stacking. Fusion Core is done. The Ghost Academy is still halfway done as well. Like again, the further tech here that Gabe needs, it's still a ways away. Trying to work towards Ghosts, EMPs, Liberators. He can't make use of the Fusion Core. Business is in. Slips into the main base. At the same time, Clem distracts. Starting back Gabe. Warping will complete. Oh my god. He has Novas. They just keep connecting. No. One after the other. Gabe, he takes a massive Novas to the face. Warping into the main. Taking over the main. Catching reinforcements. Potentially dying +2. And then Clem, he's just pulling HeroMarine apart. Pulling him apart, Bappy. Collapsing the main army. GG gets called, and Clem, he will take game number 1. Whew, GG. Hi, hi, hi. GG, well played with that. Oh, with that, Clem, he does take a lead in the series. Again, a very intense game here. Gabe, early on, he was doing a lot of economic damage, right? Winding it back, the Reaper, Hellion, and the Banshee, they were doing a lot of damage, bearing in mind that Clem was being greedy, so the damage that was being done was kind of evening up and equalizing the economy instead of giving Gabe the lead that he wanted, so bear that in mind. But when it came to defense, Gabe was setting up on 3 bases. Initially, he was looking solid until the War Prism got in. The War Prism did slip by behind the natural into the main base and got 2 or 3 massive warp-ins into both bases, and that was just pulling Gabe apart and had allowed Clem to push in and to snipe those tanks. Remember, he was able to blink forward, he sniped 2 tanks initially, weakening the defense and ensuring that he could just keep his presence there at that forward base, kept applying pressure, killing SCVs, picking up some key units, rotating as well, and again, Clem wasn't necessarily killing Gabe, but he was crippling. He was just crippling him, pulling him apart, until eventually GG. GG, well played. Whew. And with that, Clem takes the lead, and now we're going to be loading into game number 2. We'll see if Gabe can recover, bounce back, and force the ace match. Let's go. Let us go. Sorry, just catching up with the chat. Disruptors don't one-shot bio? Not anymore. It's been so long, Lumia. I hope you're doing well, by the way. Hope you're doing well. For those who are curious, at least in the YouTube chat, Lumia, he's a fellow CranKy Duckling. He used to be very active back in the day. Australian Terran player, Australian Terran. But yeah, it was over a year ago. Over a year ago, there was a patch which did actually nerf disruptors. So disruptors, they no longer one-shot marauders, and they no longer one-shot roaches, and they no longer one-shot ghosts. So a lot of the strength of the disruptor was taken away. So just so it's less kind of less intense, it's less game ending. Like the idea of like 1 or 2 novas going off and just annihilating an army, now that's been lessened a little bit. You have to rely on multiple novas, of course, and that was a change that was made quite some time ago. If I recall correctly, the radius was also reduced. Reduced radius. If I remember, I think they reduced the radius, and then I think they increased it again. I remember they tinkered around a little bit with the disruptor also, over multiple patches. I did tinker with it, but here we go. Spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Tourmaline, we have the blue Protoss player. We have the blue Protoss. We have the French Protoss representing Team Liquid. It is Clem. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have the red Terran player. We have the German Terran representing Mouse. It is HeroMarine. What a dream patch to play on. they still one-shot Marines. They still one-shot Marines. They still one-shot Zerglings. Like they still one-shot some units. But yes, it's there's been a lot of changes over the years. A lot of changes. Didn't think Blizzard was doing active balance patches anymore. Lumia. No, they released a patch earlier this year. Sorry, I say earlier this year. The latest patch was last year, October. It was like halfway through October, coming to November. That was the latest patch. I bet Cyclones have been reworked 6 times since I left. Yes. you know what? You might be dead on with 6 times. Like it might have been that many. But yes, Cyclones have been reworked quite heavily over the years as well. Yeah, the new Cyclone, the old Cyclone, the old Cyclone, like the aye. Yeah, good to see you, Lemmy. Good to see you. For now, though, we're going to be settling in. We do have our initial openers. Once again, we do have a faster factory, a delayed CC, so double gas opener out of Gabe, going for Reaper Hellion early on. Going for a more tech-heavy start and going for a delayed expansion. Meanwhile, we're going to Tourmaline. Tourmaline is one of the smaller maps in the map pool. Smaller map, a very open map as well. As you can see here, we have an open third base, an open area in between the bases, an open fourth, an open fifth. Much more open, much smaller. Aggression is favored here. We expect to see all-ins on this map typically, so we should be seeing a safer build out of Clem. Winding it back, what did Clem go for last game? He went for a Twilight Council opener into Blink, into 2 gate, into a third base. He went for a very greedy build, and I'll be shocked if we see that here. There we go. So unlike last time, we have a safety robo. Safety robo, this does mean that if Clem scouts an all-in, he can make a defensive immortal. He can make immortals, he can make observers, and we have a third gateway as well. Ooh, Reapers, they dip into the main base, but they're going to be deflected. So far, Clem is keeping up, and again, Clem, he's staying on 2 bases that much longer. Reaper Hellion into the natural. Shield batteries in position. And this time a cleaner defense. So again, the battery comes into play, the army is deflected, and Clem is staying on 2 bases. Now from here, now it's safe to expand. Clem does zone Gabe away. Gabe does go for the same build. He went Reaper Hellion into Cloak Banshee tank. So same build, same follow-up. Oh, Clem actually staying on 2 bases a little bit longer here. He delays his third base, going for the War Prism, going for aggression. So Clem is moving out. No safety bunker. No safety bunker here out of Gabe, which means SCVs are going to get picked up. Ay, ay, ay. At the same time, Gabe gets into the main. Does get in. SCVs are going down. Rough losses here for HeroMarine. At the same time, does get 2 probes in the main base. Can get up to 4. 4, 5? Okay. 5 probes go down. Some decent damage here with 6 probe kills. But across the map, that's going to be 7 SCVs falling. So on the one hand, this was nice damage here by HeroMarine. At the same time, though, I mean, that is nullified here because of the Stalker aggression from Clem. So we have it back and forth. Both players losing workers. Now there are 2 tanks here for Gabe. He should be able to defend. He's got his tanks up. He'll be able to hold on. Clem now takes a third. So we had a much more aggressive and a much more chaotic early game here. In game 2. Clem slipping into the main. At the same time, Banshees, they do get across the map. Banshees on the way. Cloak did finish. Clem slips in. And Gaby's moving out. Oh, does he come in? He does. Gaby's not turning around. He's not going to turn around. He commits across the map. He does pull a couple of boys. Yeah, it's all or nothing for Gabe. He commits. 6 SCVs going down. And Clem can always recall. He can always recall back home. As I'm sure Clem is noticing the lack of army. Back at home, where are the warp-ins? The army's in the main. He's got 3 stalkers in the main. The tanks to get within range of the gateway. Within range of the robo, actually. Yeah, the robo's under fire. Clem, he recalled back home. Dives on the tanks. He gets 1. 1 tank goes down. He gets both. Both tanks, they barely do fall. Detection's available. Now going for the Banshee. And Clem, it looks like he will barely hold. Yeah, he barely does hold on. Cleans up the Marines. Remember, this is pre-stim. There's no stim on the Marines. So they cannot chase. They're being bullied by the Stalkers. Up! Gets 1. Gets 1 Stalker. Bit of miscontrol there by Clem, and Gabe is still rallying. Gabe is still rallying across. The bunker's done. The body blocking! Oh no! He cannot block, but he will catch reinforcements. Yeah, catching reinforcements. Nice juggling here by Clem, saving the Stalkers. 1 Stalker does go down. But the reinforcements are called out. And these Marines are on their own. They're on their own. Within range of the robo, but the robo, the hunger is going to go down. The robo is saved. GG gets called, and Clem, he will claim the series 2-0, taking down HeroMarine. GG. Whew. GG, well played, Clem. He will claim the series. A very chaotic back and forth, especially here in game 2. Very chaotic, very aggressive here by HeroMarine. Thankfully for Clem, remember what were we emphasizing? Clem was already going for a safer build, right? Clem, he was already going for extra gateways and a robo as well on 2 bases. He was delaying his 3rd base, so he was just going for a safer build overall, and happened to be up against a much more aggressive build by Gabe. Gabe committing here on 2 bases, pushing out with his tanks, and alas, Clem, he barely held on. It was still close though, it was still close. I was very impressed that Gabe, he got within range of the robo even. He got within range, but Clem, he recalled in time, blinked on in, focused on the tanks. GG. That was game. That was game then and there when he was able to bring down those tanks. Bunkers did not finish in time, and Clem will claim the series. Does claim the series. I guess Clem couldn't resist the urge to Protoss. Nah. The temptation is too strong, Babby. It's too strong. Could not resist, but GG. GG, well played. With that, Clem, he will claim the series, and Clem, he will come out in 1st place in Group C. As I quickly do update the scores. There we go. Does come out in 1st place, and Gabe comes out in 2nd. The only player that Gabe did lose to in the groups was Clem. So Gabe, he does lose the series to Clem, but the only player to lose the series to. Likewise, Clem in 1st, Gabe in 2nd. Shout out to Fjant. I was really impressed by Fjant's performance as well. For those that were here yesterday, quickly checking, Fjant, he took a game off of Gabe. You can see here that Fjant, he took a game off of Gabe, and he also took a series off of Harstem as well. So really impressive play by Fjant. Fjant is a younger up-and-comer from Sweden, of course. Younger player, did perform well for himself, and likewise Elazer alongside Harstem, alongside Krystianer, they had their own back and forth as well. But these groups are really brutal. The HomeStory Cup groups are quite large, but it's only top 2. Only top 2 make it through the group stage, so it's very unforgiving. Very, very unforgiving. But in the end, GG, well played. Congratulations as both Clem and Gabe make it through the group stage. And with that, that concludes our coverage of Group C. Again, it was 2 days of coverage of Group C, and we should be soon getting into Group D. That'll be in a couple of days' time. Couple of days. Bam. When it comes to our schedule, as you can see here, we just wrapped up with our Monday morning broadcast of HomeStory Cup. You can see here that we have OSC Elite Rising Star tomorrow, Tuesday morning. We have HeroMarine Cup on Wednesday, and we get back into HomeStory Cup coverage on Thursday. That'll be HomeStory Cup Group D, followed by the playoffs. So Group D into the playoffs. You can see Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, non-stop HomeStory Cup coverage at this time slot to catch up on those replays. Meanwhile, we have other live events as well, like the Wardy TV Mondays, like Master Swan Opens, Sparkling Tuna Cups, Pigstar Cups, OC Elite, and also the Pondcast as well, the Pondcast. So plenty of live coverage, but specifically for HomeStory Cup, we're catching up on those replays. Catching up. A lot of games. A lot of games, a lot of matches to catch up on. But yeah, very stacked schedule here. If you enjoyed the broadcast, you can check us out on YouTube. !YouTube in the chat or socials. And our YouTube channel does upload VODs on a daily basis. So plenty of content, plenty of VODs over on YouTube. You can check us out there if you wish. You can support us there if you wish. Otherwise, we do live casts on Twitch. We are live on YouTube. We're live over on Kick as well, on Kick, and over on Facebook. Live all over the place, Pappy, all over the place. But otherwise, thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. That's going to be our morning broadcast wrapping up. You actually can't see because my camera's covering it, but we do have another cast in a couple of hours. We're going to be casting Pigstar Cup. It's going to be a catch-up stream, Pigstar Cup number 64. That's going to be at 8 p.m. AEST. That's going to be in around 6 hours. 6 hours time, we're going to be live with some more StarCraft with Pigstar Cup 64. That will be a replay cast. The reasoning for that is that in January, we were very unavailable in January, so we did miss out on a bunch of broadcasts, specifically Pigstar Cup. We missed out on Rongi Cup, Thunderfire as well, so we've been catching up on all those games that we missed, just because we usually cast all that live. So we're catching up on those games, likewise catching up on HomeStory Cup as well. So Pigstar Cup is in 6 hours. See you then. See you then, Pappy. See you then. The Wednesday Pigstar Cup broadcast is going to be live. That'll be a live cast. But with that, thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. If you want to support us, you can do so via Patreon. Our Patreon does fund our tournaments, our weekly events such as the Tuna Cup, and also our monthly events like the Master Swan Open and Sea Duckling Open are all funded via the Patreon. And you can see this weekend. This weekend we have Master Swan Open. That is our amateur event for Masters players. Bear that in mind. It is MMR restricted, and we have the Tuna Cup on Sunday, which is open to all, which is open to pro players. And we actually just had our recent champion Fjant did win the last Tuna Cup. But with that, thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. We're going to be wrapping up for the morning, and we'll see you guys later tonight or tomorrow, depending on your time zone, of course. We'll see you guys next time. Until then, thank you so much for watching. Take care. Have a great week, and we'll see you next time. Ciao, papi, ciao. Hasta luego.